When I returned home from the hospital, all I wanted was peace, the kind of peace you earn after a lifetime of service and sacrifice. But instead, I found flashing gas prices where my father's garden used to be, a gas station built on my land, without my permission, by the very neighbors who once thanked me for my service. And at the center of it all, a smiling woman named Gloria, holding a clipboard and calling it progress. But she had no idea who she was messing with. After 3 decades of service, decorated war veteran Harold Jacobs, aged 67, finally hung up his boots. With silver hair, a limp from an old injury, and wisdom earned through fire, he had one dream: peace. He inherited a patch of rural land from his father, a World War II combat medic. The land was sacred, not just soil but memory. A quiet corner in the countryside, just on the border of a gated suburban community run by a homeowners association. One of those places with community gardens, strict mailbox designs, and an obsession with power walks and property values. Harold never joined the HOA, never wanted to. He kept to himself. But 3 months away in the VA hospital changed everything. He came home and his land was gone. Not legally, not on paper, but physically it was transformed. A gas station, modern, buzzing with activity, solar-roofed pumps, and even a snack kiosk, stood where his father's garden once bloomed. The sign read, Community Fuel Station, HOA Use Only, sponsored by Chairwoman Gloria Jean. Harold stood frozen, heart pounding, not from shock, but from sheer disbelief. The first face he saw was one he trusted, Rick Malone, his neighbor of 15 years. A man Harold had shared beers with, helped during a winter pipe burst, even watched football with. Rick raised a hand awkwardly. Harold, you're back. Harold's voice was low, like a storm rolling in. Rick, what the hell happened to my land? Rick fumbled. Look, there was a vote. Gloria said you'd probably never return, that you were not doing well. That line cut deeper than any wound Harold ever got on the battlefield. So this was how they saw him? A man too old, too broken, too irrelevant? They had used his absence to justify their theft. The next morning, Harold walked, slowly but firmly, into the HOA meeting held in the local rec center. At the head of the table sat Gloria Jean, the self-proclaimed community steward. In her early 60s, pearl necklace, clipboard in hand, and a permanent expression of self-importance. Mr. Jacobs, she said with a rehearsed smile, we didn't expect you so soon. He cut to the chase. You built a gas station on my land. Gloria didn't flinch. The board voted, Harold. The community needed it. Your land was underused, and it was, how do I say, just sitting there. That land isn't part of your HOA. Gloria chuckled lightly. Oh, Harold, sometimes community needs outweigh red tape. It's a moral decision, not a legal one. That moment wasn't just an insult. It was a declaration of war. Back home, Harold climbed into the attic for the first time in years, searching for his deed, his maps, his papers. There, covered in dust, was his father's World War II trunk. Inside, yellow documents, medals, an old compass, and something unexpected, a map, hand-drawn, with markings. Turns out the land was once part of a classified military training field. The coordinates matched his. The land had a story, not just a name on a deed. His father trained medics here. Lives were saved here. This land wasn't idle. It was historic. This wasn't just personal now. This was legacy. Things took a darker turn. Harold started noticing strange shadows near his fence line. His mailbox was left open. One morning, his security cameras were mysteriously unplugged. Then the power went out, only in his shed, where he was storing legal papers. Somebody wanted to scare him, or worse, sabotage him. A friend at the local power company whispered, Gloria's folks, they've been nosing around. They think you're going to sue. They were right. But Harold wouldn't give them the reaction they wanted. He wasn't just going to scream into the wind. He was going to document everything. Harold called in an old friend, Joseph Booker, now a semi-retired lawyer who once served with him. Together, they built a case. Ownership papers? Check. Photos of the construction timeline? Check. Gloria's own community newsletters that boasted about transforming unused land for a brighter tomorrow? GOLDMINE. Every smiling photo of her cutting ribbons, shaking hands, standing proudly on his land. Everyone became evidence. Harold remained silent in public, but he was stacking ammunition. Legal ammunition. The night of the town hall meeting, the room buzzed with tension. Folding chairs, free donuts, and nervous glances. Harold stood and played a recording from Rick, the neighbor, admitting Gloria told him Harold wouldn't make it back. The room fell silent. Then Harold pulled out the World War II map. "My father bled for this land," he said. "It wasn't idle. It was sacred. And you paved over it for fuel points." Gasps. A few teary eyes. And more than a few ashamed looks. The community began to crack. The HOA's power? Starting to waver. Later that week, Harold stood by the oak tree where his father once sat, teaching him how to use a compass. He closed his eyes and remembered the promise he made at his father's funeral. "I'll keep it safe, Dad. I'll protect it." His hands shook, not from age, but from purpose. This wasn't just about a gas station. It was about dignity, respect, and not letting bullies dressed in blouses and bylaws steal what didn't belong to them. Unexpectedly, Harold received a message from Sophia Blake, a younger HOA board member. She came to his porch in tears. "I didn't know the land was yours. Gloria said it was donated." She handed him an internal HOA memo. Gloria had forged a consent form using a fake signature. Gloria had been running a personal scheme, marking up gas prices and getting a cut from the contractor she hired. Sophia testified. The HOA fractured. The community that once cheered for Gloria now whispered about her lies behind cupped hands. The court hearing was swift. The judge reviewed the evidence, the history, the fraud, and slammed the gavel. Unauthorized construction. Landowners, rights violated. Damages to be paid in full. Station to be transferred to Mr. Jacobs. The gallery clapped. Gloria sat like stone, silent, broken. Harold didn't bulldoze the station. Instead, he renamed it Valor Fuel and Coffee in honor of service. He kept the pumps running, but added something more. A bench, a flagpole, a memorial wall with names of veterans from the town. The community came together, not just to fuel up, but to remember. Veterans dropped by for free coffee. Parents brought kids to learn history. A local teacher asked to host weekly storytelling sessions. And best of all, the teens Harold hired now called him Mr. H. They helped build the new garden right next to Pump 1.